Here.
Branch.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Farrell.
Here.
Stevenson.
Here.
Trinka.
Here.
Washington. Here. Whitty.
Here.
Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I didn't make it up.
It is, I do have a proclamation of the US Constitution for the week of. Whereas September 17, 2024 marks the 237th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord, excuse me, official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, I, Sherry Wright, by virtue of authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Lebanon in the state of Illinois, do hereby proclaim the week of September 16th through 22nd as Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through the guardian of our liberties, remembering the lost rights may never be regained. In witness thereof, I have, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Lebanon to be affixed on this 9th day of September 2024. Do we have any of the okay.
Wait 1 second.
Going this way? Okay.
She's running.
There.
Okay. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing and joining us. If I can.
You drink water.
She said, don't do that. Oh, okay. I just.
Oh, you don't have to stay for the whole meeting.
This was.
Uh-oh.
Thank you.
Yes. I got to.
Okay.
Thank you all. Have a good evening. Okay, approval of the omnibus agenda.
I'm gonna move approval of the omnibus agenda and add items 1 and 2 under streets and alleys to that, since those are routine matters.
Any second?
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Janet.
Yes.
Branch. Davis.
Yes.
Farrell.
Yes.
Stevenson.
Yeah.
Trinka.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Whitty.
Yes.
Okay. It's audience comment time. If anyone has anything, please state your name and come close to the gate, and you have 5 minutes. Nobody's gonna say nothing. Okay. Alderpersons? No? Plan Commission, report, AJ?
Plan Commission met on September third. We had two items on the agenda. The first was a certificate of appropriateness for Unity Counseling at 109 West St. Louis Street. The owner, Brian Gibbons, was present to answer questions. The clerk had previously indicated that the flower box, mailbox, and address were in line with the ordinances, so those have been installed prior to the meeting. And the Plan Commission voted to allow their signage, lighting, and other improvements. So you guys should have that thing there.
Yes,
And now we're going to vote on that.
the permanent sign. The lights, the 4 lights on the top, the painting of the black and on the top and down the middle. And a black bench and the black
This-
door.
And the wooden.
Oh, yeah, the wooden stuff. That's the
Stuff on the
part
side.
that was questionable. This part here.
So we would need a motion and a second.
Who's paying for this?
They are.
They are.
Is there?
You are.
No, not me.
Oh.
Unity Counseling is.
Okay.
The
The
owner of the
building
building.
owners.
Motion, okay.
I'll second.
It's worth- Well, any questions? Roll call?
Okay. Branch. Yes. Davis.
Yes.
Farrell.
Yes.
Stevenson.
Yeah.
Trinka.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Whitty.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Next, Adrian.
The second item on our agenda was the 8 lots on Perryman that needed a special use permit. The property owner was not prepared at this time, so that item has been postponed for a later date and no action was taken.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Committee reports, streets and alleys. Bobby?
Okay, the first, no, 1 and 2 were taken care of under the omnibus, so we've got item number 3. 11 Fall Festival requests the following street closures from 5 AM to 6 PM, October 5th. West St. Louis from Monroe to Highway 4. St. Clair from West Center Street down to West Main Street. And to Pearl Street from West Center to Main Street. They're also requesting the use of the City Hall parking lot and the new Uptown parking lot.
Any questions?
Is there accommodation for handicap parking?
Anybody needing handicap, if they have a handicap sign, I'm sure this lot will be available.
Is that,
I will tell you, normally, this is a
Why
little
not?
delay. Normally, all chamber insured, I'll call it, events are requested at the same time so that there's no last minute. And I didn't know they were not requested at the same time, so apologize for that delay. So, yes, ma'am.
The other parking lot has handicap signs also,
Mhm.
so wouldn't they be utilizing those?
Would do what?
Wouldn't they be utilizing those also?
If there were any spots available, I don't know what they have planned for the big lot. Sometimes they have food trucks or whatever, or crafters in there, and then they won't let people drive into there. So it's most likely this lot.
I think,
Okay,
well, I think we should, kind of stand firm on those handicap slots.
if there's people in the lot, crafters or food vendors or picnic tables, we can't let cars drive into the lot. And that's why this one is more available. Because there's no people in there. There's no,
2 out.
I'm sorry.
I
Yes.
can help with this. I'm not on Fall Festival, but I do a lot of other events. This lot over here does not get used for any vendors or any food trucks or anything like that. Even though there's only 2 handicap spots or 1 handicap spot over here, the other parking spots will not be used. And if someone needs a handicap parking spot, the other parking spots would be available to be used as handicap
You mean down
spots
here?
temporarily,
Right
this
here.
parking lot on the side here. So most of the events, we don't keep those handicap spots open in the parking lot on Pearl Street because we utilize that parking lot, but we keep this parking lot over here open to allow the ambulances to come and go without being blocked in, and the entire parking lot is kept open. So let's say you needed a handicap spot, we would park you in one of these parking spots out here, even though it is not handicapped. We would personally park you in one of those spots.
and that works well. Since when we have a lot of out of town people coming in for an event, I think it would be important that we have some very visible signage that says
We made
handicap parking is.
We made handicap parking signs, we laminated them, we designated handicap parking spots for the last 3 large events. And 1 spot was used.
I'm not saying that's the case. The issue is that they have to be available, whether or not they're used. They must be available and we must clearly mark them.
Well, that the same could be
I
done
believe
for
they're blue
this.
signs.
Yeah, I know the
They-
blue side.
They're the blue handicap placards, they're put on temporary cones or something like that on the poles. We saw horses, we make them where they can see that they are parking. Sometimes we do the back row of the Pearl Street parking lot, if that's not being utilized. We make sure that there's plenty of handicap parking, it just doesn't usually get utilized.
And I agree with all that.
So
I
we have,
understand, but the street's closed off down the corner. How do they know to come down here?
they come up through that way, George.
How
There's,
do they know to come up that way?
there's usually people helping on the street. I know a lot of you guys don't come up to these events, but there's usually somebody on the street. They can pull up to the barricade and say, hey, I need handicap parking, and somebody will move a barricade and show them where to go.
But even if you don't need handicap, people will tell you where to go to park.
Almost always.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they will call before the event. We give a frequently asked questions thing to the visitor center usually that has all those answers that say where they can park. I'm pretty sure that Fall Festival will do the same thing with frequently asked questions. The information usually is on Facebook. We try to cover all bases, so that way everybody knows where to go and what to do. Like I said, I'm not part of Fall Festival, but they're usually pretty thorough also.
You have a motion and a second. Thank
So
you.
moved.
I don't have a motion. I second. He said first.
Roll call.
Branch,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes,
Stevenson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trinka,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Whitty,
yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Anything else about?
That's it for streets and outlets tonight. We'll meet again October 7th at 6:30.
Okay, finance, Yolanda?
We meet October, September the 23rd at 6:30.
Okay. Ordinance, George,
Nothing tonight. We meet October 7th at 6:30 p.m.
water sewer, Mr. Stevenson.
Not that I know of, and we're spending,
Okay. Cemetery, Mr. Trink, I know you got something.
No, I just talked to Carrie, Chris, and she said that they're hoping to get that, most of it done this week or next week at the latest. The sign is basically up, it's just the words that have to be installed.
It's looking good. You did good.
Thank you.
Health and safety.
Nothing tonight, we meet September 23rd at 6:30.
Okay. Public property, Charlie,
Nothing, not, we meet October seventh.
personnel,
Nothing for this evening, September the 23rd. 6:30.
okay. Clerk,
Okay, first of all, everybody pass in your stapled executive session minutes. Pass them down to the end, and so I can collect them. Yes, these have, they have to be, kept secret until a certain time that we vote on them and. you can release it.
Okay, hold on.
Just the executive session. You can't, you can't vote right in. You can't vote.
Is all these going in, all these in the email that you sent?
No.
It's only the one.
August 12th, 2024.
24 and the 26th. There's two sets stapled together that need to come in and they need their secret. Executive session, so they can't be out to the public for a certain amount of days until you guys vote in.
So let me think again.
Okay.
You can come up and read them anytime you want to. They're up here for you, but. Yeah. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from here. How many you got?
I think it's four, so there's mine,
Okay, thank you.
anything else?
I got you. Okay, the ads have been put in the paper for taking bids on the, 2006 street sweeper. And the 1999 350 3.7 diesel dump truck with the plow blade on it.
Did we surplus both those?
Yep,
Yes.
previous surplus, we're surplusing the next. We're surplusing the bucket truck. So that'll be presented next time and then we'll put that in the paper and run the ad on. There was a $5,000 minimum bid on it. So that's in the paper too, on both of those. Not 5,000 for the two.
On each.
Okay, also, we're probably not going to have to do anything about the initial report for the plan commission on changing those lots out there for a special use permit to duplexes. I think he's going to do single homes out there.
I hope so.
So
Are you talking about the lot that the family?
those that way out there, yeah, on Perryman, he wanted to make duplexes on them. And it kind of turned out like there's gonna be a lot of concrete, just like on the other side. And we wanted to get away from that, and now I think he's decided to go with single family homes. And so hopefully we won't have to have that come into play. Okay, I passed out to you guys, 2 sheets. 76 and 77 in the IML manual. There was talk that you needed some clarification on it, so this is for your information. It's starts with the terms of office, the delivery of your records to your successor, and then on the next page, it's the commencement of terms of office and the delivery of records it's the compensation. So please read those two before we have another meeting and understand these 2 pages, because that's what you're gonna have to come up with. It's backgrounding. Okay, I think that's
And all,
all I.
Did you put them in the email to some of us?
These, no, I don't think I put these in there. Do you want those emailed to you?
Well, I didn't get a copy on the desk.
She can get a hard time. She can get it.
There's 2 pages, 76 and 77. You got both of them?
Now I do.
Okay.
And you want us to read it and do what you say?
No, for the next time you guys discuss that stuff, this is background for you.
Okay.
Now, I was asked to get that in another meeting, and so I wanted you guys to have that.
Anything else? Treasurer Learn?
I have nothing tonight.
Okay, I have one thing, I'm requesting a mayor pro tem for the week of Monday, the 23rd of September through Friday, the 27th of September. I would like to appoint George Farrow. And is there a second?
Someone's gonna make a motion.
Some make a motion,
I'll make a motion.
somebody second,
I say.
thank you. Welcome.
Okay. Davis,
Yes.
Farrell,
Abstain.
Stevenson.
Yeah.
Trinka,
Yes.
Washington,
Yeah.
Whitty,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Branch.
Yes.
Thank you. Department heads, chief,
Yes. I don't know if it's been a full moon the last 3 weeks, in the entire Metro East area or what, but everybody seems to be wanting to fight. Not just here in this town, but everywhere and shoot each other.
Oh.
So Centerville had a shooting where some people were killed. Fairview Heights had a shooting. Obviously, these are multi-agency, requests for help. We assisted. We had some incidents, on a traffic stop where we had to get assistance again from Mascuda. This happens regularly when things don't go right. This past weekend, we had 2 fights in the downtown area. We had one we assisted that was coming on 64 from O'Fallon. I can't mention the names because they haven't been charged, but one decided to stab the other with a screwdriver. We assisted in that too. So it's been really crazy. I don't know if it's the end of summer or what the deal is. So we've been pretty busy as well as being shorthanded due to sickness, and I think we're getting back on target there with people back to work. So and
that's it.
Charlie, you got something?
Yeah, I told Chief I had some questions about, distributing getting signatures for my petition. I got some questions from some of the people that signed my petition. And I've got them here if you don't mind answering them. They want to know what you were gonna do with the speeding, about the speeding on Belleville Street, on Alton, Chamberlain, and Stanton, where it feeds into Belleville Street.
Well, that's a good question. We just, we've been doing enforcement in that area. In fact, we just got somebody traveling in excess of 70 miles an hour down Belleville. I don't know if I told you guys this, but I meet with the freshman class at the university every year. And probably the largest class I've ever seen
It is the largest.
in my tenure here. And I tell them all the do's and don'ts. I warn them about the speeding. I warn them about the underage drinking. I warn them about this and all that. And this young man was drinking about 70 at Belleville. And we had 2 the same day, about 65. We just had another one coming up 50 that was in excess of 100 miles an hour. So we are doing enforcement on speeding and other running stop signs too.
Got a couple more, they want to know the total number of officers, I guess, including yourself. That includes you, okay? Citizens said they never see officers. They want to know kind of where they are.
I've heard that probably my entire 36 years career from various people. I always ask the question, are you sitting out in your front yard to see if the cop drives by? Or, so I'd have to, if somebody isn't seeing them, are they having problems in that area? Are they call us? I can't, that's such a vague question for me to answer, because you could be sleeping and the police officer drives down your street. You could be in the bathroom, you could be doing any number of things, and the officer may have driven down your street.
And two more, then I'll leave you alone. They want to know about, how many officers are there per shift?
Two,
Two?
sometimes, I don't like to advertise this, sometimes it's only one.
And
The last 3 weeks, it's been tough.
and the last one was, people have heard there's a lot of overtime and they want to know why all the overtime if they don't see the policeman.
Well, that's the union contract, and I brought that up to, many of are gonna go, they're 2-man minimum, okay? So when somebody takes off work, whether it's sickness, vacation, comp, or their union contract, I have to backfill it, or at least offer to backfill that shift. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, or bereavement, or any time off there. And you gotta keep in mind, if you only have 2 officers and you're doing an investigation, and it's a big investigation, if you will, it takes time to do it. So that can run into overtime there too.
Okay, thanks, Chief.
No problem. Anybody else have a question?
I have one question with the speeding. I know like in some areas they have those, I know those roads down there are a little thin. You know how they have them on wheels, the little digital speed limit signs that can warn the drivers as they come, how fast they're going. And I think we need some of those, not only on Belleville Street, but also on, you know, every now and then. I don't know if they rent them, or I know O'Fallon have a logo on there, so they probably own it.
I just talked to Mr. Tarinka about what you're asking me today. And I don't know if you remember, but we put 2 signs, right?
Yeah, I see.
They're about $5,000 a piece, okay? And I paid for them out of the forfeiture account that wasn't taxpayer money. Well, right now, with all the budget cuts that everybody's had to do, I don't have that money. Now, that can change next month, okay? So we were looking at, I told Mr. Trinket tonight that I was looking at cheaper signs that is just gonna have, making this up, speed limit of 30, and then there'll be lights around it, so it'll flash red if you're going 32,
Yeah,
okay? Those are still about $3,000.
really.
Yeah,
So that one that's standing in the ground, that's in the ground down here, that's 5,000. So what about the one that come on the wheels that's movable? That you
those
can hook
are
up?
a lot more.
Okay, well, you might need one of those.
That is
That
on
move
my,
it around.
that is my honey-do list,
Okay.
okay? To do that, actually, what I really like, I do like these signs that are down there because they're portable.
Mhm.
So I wanted to get through an entire school year, then look at the data,
Mhm.
because the reason they're so expensive is collecting data,
Oh, okay.
okay? So we can look at the data and see when school's in, when's out, when's the most higher traffic, when are they speeding the most?
Mhm.
A bunch of information will give us. But we can pick them up
Okay.
and put them on Belleville,
Gotcha.
Monroe, or those kind of things.
That's good.
Yes,
Chief is just wondering, would, reduction in the speed limit do any good?
no,
No,
no, no. Even when I told you I met with the young adults, I don't wanna call them kids, the young adults, when they come in, to school. Some of them will listen to me, some of them won't listen to me, some don't care.
Well,
That's what I mean, that's everybody.
but yeah, we can't just drop the speed limit.
That won't change it.
No.
It won't. Because if you say you have 40 mile an hour, let's make this up, you got 40 mile an hour speed limit on Belleville. You raise it, okay? You're raising it actually. People are gonna still do 50. So now you're gonna drop it to 20. And we had looked at doing humps, maybe on Belleville, but I don't think that's working out real well. I liked Yolanda's question about, I do think the lights, the light signs, speed limit signs, I do think that helps. We'll get there, I just don't have money to do it right now. Yes, ma'am.
I know, I was coming up Belleville Street. And I think their speed limit is 35.
Mhm.
I was doing 35. I had a whole line of cars behind me, and they were honking.
Miss Washington every day, every
I
day.
didn't even
You see people
care.
run the stop sign at Monroe and St. Louis all day long, and we stop them.
Yeah,
You
I
know, we
didn't
stop, they
care.
write tickets.
They hung because I was doing the speed limit.
Yeah.
They couldn't go around me, so they had to go by the speed limit. So, but as soon as I turned off, boy, they took off. So, you know, I can understand.
Yeah.
Nobody is gonna do that speed limit. I don't care what you put up there.
They even heard.
They'll still go around you. They've gone around me on Monroe.
They didn't,
I'm going
out
25.
on Belleville Street, they didn't.
Yeah,
Anything else for the chief?
Thank you.
No, thank you. Streets?
Keep mine short and sweet. Wednesday, we will be processing oil and chip with DMS as a contractor. The only thing that the city is going to be helping with is sanding and minimum traffic control. Otherwise, they're responsible for everything else. We are loading trucks that'll be on site down at the water department. I did contact DMS tonight. They were supposed to have signs out, so tomorrow, Luann, I'll get with you. We're gonna put our own out.
Okay.
We'll discuss that when we get to the end.
Do that like we did
But,
before.
A lot of the roads we're talking is over by, we're gonna start on the north side of town here on Randall. So you got East Randall, the 100 block, there's only one block of East Randall. And then West Randall to Monroe. There's a small section down on Mary Jane, which is the last section that never got paved from the grade school to south corner. So that way that's a good continuum through for the grade school. And then we will have Oak, Vine, and Liberty Street, which is off towards the east quadrant over by the east side of town by the Strack Lane. And we'll move south and do Roden, or as for some reason, the maps show Commercial Street, which is an alley. We'll go, was an alley, Road Street, we'll go through all the way down, and that'll be all oil and chip down from Buell's up to, I believe that's Fritz, South Fritz. And then all of Faust Road and all of Oak Grove School Road, and that'll tie our year up, so. It didn't take long and we burned through almost 32,000 just like that, so. Just keep in mind as we move forward, we are oil and chipping, we are doing pavement projects. When we do a big pavement project, you'll see less oil and chip. When we're not doing big pavement projects, you'll see more oil and chip, so. That's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Penny, water, nothing? Accountant? You wanna say no? Unfinished business? Any unfinished business at this time? Okay, any new business?
Yeah. I was wondering, the, audit that's come in and whatnot, and I was just wondering whether or not, I believe it's Michelle that handles that, if we could maybe, get together with her and some afternoon and kind of go over that, so we kind of understand what the audit is.
Did you get a book? Because everybody has a book there.
Yeah, there's a copy.
Right,
That's your copy.
Pardon?
you can have 2 aldermen with Michelle, that's it. Otherwise, it becomes a meeting that we have to post. So I would suggest going through it. If you have questions, ask, anybody can write down their questions and ask her about it, but make sure that you pick up one of the audit books. Does that work?
Yeah, I'll see if I can make a contact with her to kind of go over it.
Okay,
All right,
okay, thank you. Anybody else?
just one other thing. And I don't know anything about this, so you have to bear with me. On our real estate taxes, okay, there's an item on there that says Horner Park Relations or District. How much goes to them? It seems like there's a lot of money going to the Horner Park. but that's not in the city.
True. It's not in the city. I don't know the percentage that Horner Park is given.
Horner Park District extends beyond the city limits, so it's got properties all over. It's just that Horner Park proper, the actual property, which is a lease that the park district leases it from the trust. And that property is in the city, but because it's the nature of it, is taxed, it's not taxed.
What?
It is not taxed, but everything else, they receive their money to operate that park and McAllister Park.
George, Water Park out there is out of the city.
It's out of the city limits.
Yeah.
That's right.
You said
It's
it
not in, I'm sorry, I apologize. It is not in the city limits. Only McAllister Park is in the city limits. It is not taxed either. And all those funds go to the Horner Park Board of Trustees or Board of Directors. And that board controls those funds.
Now, what funds is that?
Huh?
What
Park
fund?
district funds,
Park district
Park
funds?
district funds, that's their funds.
just like
They collect it directly, just like the city does.
Does that go up every year or,
They can,
they can,
well,
just like
how
the
can we reduce that?
we can,
fire.
Why can't we?
we can't. You'd have to go to the Park District Board and get the Park District to do that.
Just like the
It's a
fire
separate,
district.
it's a separate taxing district.
Well,
within the city.
I'm just thinking, try to, just because the taxes keep going up doesn't mean we necessarily have to say, okay, can't we fight it? Because all I ever hear is we don't have any money.
We go to that. I go to those meetings on a fairly regular basis. And the park board controls those monies. And they're a separate taxing district that overlays the city and other places. The same thing with the library district. The library district happens to be exactly our city limits. With the exception of a piece of properties that were added right at the end of the process, converting to a taxing district. And they're right on top of the city limit too. And we pay taxes to the library district, but they have their own elected board. Same thing with the park district, it's their own elected board. It's different taxing districts. We have the Emerald Mountain Fire Department District. Sits over the city plus.
Well, at least, now, wait a minute, now, when you talk about the fire people and whatnot, that's a different story. I'm talking, I'm trying to figure out why they get all the tax money and we get nothing in return.
Well, we don't do anything. We don't have a park. We don't manage the park.
Yeah. So
We have no authority over that park.
So do we know what,
We
What-
don't give them money.
We don't give them money.
Taxpayers pay the district tax for the fire department, a district tax for the
well, I
library,
understand that.
city, and that.
I understand it. You can read that on the bill too.
We don't, the city doesn't, the city government does not give the park anything.
But don't we, I guess to cut to the chase, don't we represent the people? Okay, and, I've had several people ask me about it, and I don't know a thing about it. But if it just keeps going up every year, somebody's gotta go to those people and say, hey, we're tapped out.
Did you see that on you're talking about on the tax bill, and, are you right, the tax bill that we get when we pay our property taxes? Where it has, that's what you're talking about. And the reason I ask, because I think that's everywhere, everything is going up. Because if you, even on my tax bill, whether it's your school property, whatever, it's just going up because infrastructure, everything just gonna go up anyway, and I don't think you could really do nothing about that.
The only way you can do anything is that you have to go to each one of those, like you have to go to the school district and say, I don't want my taxes to go up anymore. You have to go to the fire department taxing district and say, no more. I mean, the citizens have to do that. The city doesn't get to do that. We issue our own tax levy. Each of those districts do their own budget and their own tax levy. So if any of those want to be changed, then the people have to go to that one and say no more. We're gonna fire y'all.
I understand, so the bottom line is that, we don't really. We can't do anything about it.
You
Not,
can't,
not the council.
as a citizen, everybody can because they vote on the trustees.
And they could go to the meetings and complain,
Okay,
just like we
That's
get
it.
people that come here and.
that's it for me.
I know we're trying to get out the meeting, but Mr. Trinka been to a park meeting, I've been to a park meeting, and it doesn't matter, like Mr. Farrell said. We might elect those people on the ballot, but at the end of the day, and I didn't heard them all say, they can say whatever they wanna say, at the end of the day, the trust runs the show.
There is a separate trust for
And
Horner
it is
Park
what it is.
proper. There's a separate trust for Horner Park proper. And that separate trust has a lot of veto power.
Okay.
Okay,
Cut it down.
move for adjournment.
Someone, by voice.
All in favor?
All right.
All opposed? Any abstains?
Like my next. If you know, you kind of. Well, it looks better and get better and. Then you'll. Say the same.
No.